Pia, thank you very much for joining us on Entrepreneur Middle East today. We're at the WE convention where we're talking about, the concept of going all in your career, personal life, all of that. For you, you've had such a rich journey, such a rich career over the last few years. What has the concept of success meant to you at different stages of your life? And have you had to make certain sacrifices or priorities along the way?
I love that question. Of course, at the beginning, success meant many different things to me. For the people who know me, and just a quick background, I started with modeling and acting when I was very young. And at that time, I was the breadwinner of my family. I was taking care of my mom and my sister. So to me, it was survival. Like to me, it was a means of helping my family out. It was a means of putting myself to school, to support. Being able to do well at work meant that, my family's lifeline was on the line. After a few years and the blessings did come and Miss Universe happened, I enjoyed the opportunities in front of me because when I was starting out, I kept getting no's. I kept getting the door, shut in my face, and I faced a lot of rejection. And so when the opportunities finally came pouring in, to me, it was about proving my worth and why I deserved to be there. I think, in a way, it was also in the nature that I won Miss Universe. I won in such a controversial way where I felt like I constantly needed to prove why I deserved to be there. And that kind of mindset and mentality stays with you for a long time, even after the situation has passed. So after that, it was all about doing great work, making sure that I had a nice balance of brands and, work that monetizes, but also purpose-filled work. And so I wanted to have that balance. After a few years of enjoying the blessings and the offers and the opportunities and, taking advantage of those, I started to look for something more. And that was purpose. I was getting kind of bored and tired of showing up on set, made up already, having to hold the product to my face and promote it and basically convince you guys to buy it. To me, it was like, there must be something more that I can do with this audience and with the platform that's given to me. And so I've doubled down on my advocacy work. And, I love that because it's given my life such a balance where I feel like, yes, I'm earning money, doing my brand work and my other things, but I also feel like I'm paying it forward and I'm helping somebody out and being a helping hand to somebody who I may or may not know just by volunteering. And so to me, success has meant many different things: survival, relevancy, staying at the top of my game, and now it's just finding purpose.
Yeah. I think your passion is very visceral right now because I can see it in your eyes. When people talk about finding purpose, sometimes it feels a little like superficial, but when the person means it, I think the opposite person can feel it as well. So that was lovely. My second question is about the concept of, not being able to say no. You started out really young, so I suppose I would assume that was something you might have had to struggle with, being able to say no to things or saying, being assertive about what they can and cannot do. What is your advice to them, with regards to this?
Oh, well, as a woman, we're kind of wired to please all the time, especially in Asia, especially in this part of the world where you are conditioned to say yes, to audition to obey, and there's a certain type of mold and path that's meant for you, and you shouldn't veer away from that. I found that, yes, at the beginning, I did say yes to so many things. I mean, I kept hearing no. So when I finally would, get offers, some decisions I really had to think about a lot because then it really made me think, is this still something that makes me happy? Does this still align with my values? So to give you an example, there were some brand opportunities or some offers that in the past, like I've had to turn them down because it just didn't align with my values and the kind of thing that I was building on. Of course, some things will be a quick cash grab, and those opportunities are there and it's very tempting, but you got to think long term. Like, is this going to dent or damage something that I have been building for a very long time. Is it worth that? Or is it worth me saying no to a few things now and then trusting the process that one day it's going to pay off? So my advice, if it's a case of, if you can say no and your gut feeling is telling you that this might not be the right direction for you, you have to be able to tune it into, is this my gut telling me to, gut instinct telling me to go another way, or is this fear? Because there's those two emotions can feel very similar.
True.
Is it myself holding me back because I'm afraid of what could happen, or am I just, scared of jumping into like a great opportunity? So my advice would be to be able to gauge that feeling, to be able to really tap into your emotions and feel like, is this something good for me? And to trust yourself in being your own boss.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to do that, and sometimes I still, have to hear it from someone else to say, it's okay to say no to this. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to pass on this opportunity. You're doing the right thing. And it really helps when you have a sounding board. Yes. So that would be my advice. If you don't have that self-confidence yet to just say no and stick and be firm to your decision, surround yourself with people who have your best interest at heart.
Very true. You touched upon my final question, and that's about self-confidence. A lot of people watching this, Miss Universe is more than just a beauty pageant. There's a level of intellect that you need to display. I can already see how eloquent you are in the way you speak. It has a lot to do with building your self-worth and self-confidence as well. You cannot be on that stage without that. How did you build it over the years, and what would your advice be to female entrepreneurs, especially who are starting out and who are perhaps letting fear or this idea of I'm not enough sort of inhibit them?
I talk about this with my husband a lot because we're trying to crack the code on why I never stopped and why I kept on fighting and trying even though I kept losing and kept getting rejected. And I think this is one of those stories where I didn't grow up in a very supportive, conventional kind of childhood, but those things shaped me. I don't really want to change anything about the kind of childhood I had. Growing up as a breadwinner, when you're very young and you're pushed into pressure and the limelight, it changes you and you mature more quickly. And I felt like over the years, I learned how to channel negativity, any self-doubt, or any fear that I had of myself into fuel. Like you just got to be able to filter that.
Yeah.
And nobody is going to do that for you but yourself. And it's a process. I didn't wake up like this confident already. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when I was starting out, I had to look at myself in the mirror and convince myself that I even deserved the spot. And those moments still exist. Those moments still happen. What people usually see is the end product. I'm sitting here. I got glammed up this morning. I prepped myself. So you see the great parts. But it's a work in progress. And even honestly, up to this day, I still have to check myself and tell myself, okay, you're not feeling it right now, but you can do this and you'll get through this. And it's a work in progress. Building self-confidence isn't an overnight thing. You don't just become, oh, I won Miss Universe. This is going to change my life now, and I'll just never be that same person before. But that's not true. It's always a work in progress. There's always going to be new challenges and new doubts and new self-narrative that you will tell yourself. But it's all about how you get up from that experience. So even the most beautiful celebrities you guys see is going through something, but you just decide to get up.